This video is sponsored by water because I've never seen a family thirstier for attention.
So what if you're watching this and you're thinking, should I keep my baby even though it's too hard? As a matter of fact, I was in that position. I was 19 when I got pregnant with Everly, and I remember just being so scared. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was actually in school and college, and I was too scared to tell my family. I was too scared to tell my friends. It was just a lot for me to take in being so young. I remember those moments just being so terrified of just like what the future would look like, what my life was gonna look like. Just so many things going through my head at that moment, and just knowing how hard it was gonna be, but ultimately in the end how worth it was gonna be looking back now. I know for me personally, my choice was always to keep my baby, but I also know that for others there are choices.
Hello everybody, welcome back. You look great. Sorry I've been gone so long. I've been working a lot. Did not forget about you guys. So I apologize for that. But also, hello, it's me, Malcolm, once again. I definitely have to do some disclaimers for this type of video because we are of course talking about pro-life versus pro-choice. The Labrant family and their documentary that they posted like a month ago that has now since been demonetized by YouTube. We'll get to that. So if this is a triggering topic for you, I wouldn't suggest clicking on this video, even though nothing I'm saying is going to agree with the Labrant family, obviously for a lot of reasons. But there is a reference to, I don't want to say the whole word because I don't want to trigger anybody, but there's like a reference in their video about what happened during World War II, and if you know what that means, and if that triggers you, I would just say click away from this video because I do talk about that in a bit. Miss you guys. Hope you like the new camera angle. I'm trying cinematic mode, even though it takes a lot longer to process. I wanted to try something different again. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Hey, what is up everybody? Yes, I returned to your phone, your computer, your TV, your tablet, your laptop. I don't know what you're watching me on right now, but welcome back. It's me, it's Malcolm, and today we're talking about a family that is probably public enemy number one right now. That would be the Labrant family. Now, I don't know if it's okay to show their thumbnail. It might get me demonetized, so I'm gonna censor it if I do show it. But pretty much we're talking about this documentary, mockumentary, whatever you want to call it, that they posted a couple weeks ago. And it was definitely a pro-life video, just that in itself, especially because they're a family channel directed towards kids. So great start. So we're definitely going to talk about that. And we are going to break this video down into parts yet again because, you know, sometimes you might want to click away, and if you feel like a little bit lost, and like if this is like some background noise for you, well, make sure to vacuum. I don't know if you're vacuuming, but make sure to get every corner. If you're polishing furniture, make sure you are going in circles. But no, seriously, so we're gonna break this video down into 4 parts. Part 1 is gonna be about the video itself and pretty much my reaction to the video itself. Part 2, we're gonna talk about some other creators' reactions because maybe I thought I was just like being a little too biased, or maybe I was just like, I was seeing the glass like one way, not the other way. But when I looked at other creators' videos, I quickly realized that I wasn't as crazy as I thought. So that's part 2. And then part 3, we're actually going to talk about the problematic past of Labrant family. And we're going to specifically talk about 2 things that I found when I looked at other creators' videos, because I'm not going to act like I had prior knowledge about it. I've heard about these things, but I didn't know in depth about how bad it really was. So we're going to be talking about their problematic past. And then in part 4, I don't know why, but we're going to try to fix this mockumentary, documentary, what you want to call it. So we're going to try to fix this video and see if there's any way to make it salvageable, make it watchable, because I'm going to tell you right now, the video is not watchable unless you are already pro-life, and that's the mindset you're already in. But if you're like one of those people that's on the line, down the middle about it, or if you're definitely pro-choice, this video was definitely not going to be what you wanted. So we're gonna see if there was any way to fix this video, because one, it's trash. Just being completely honest about it. Video was trash. And then we're just gonna conclude, and that's pretty much it. How I heard about this video was on Twitter, because a lot of people were just going ballistic, and I couldn't figure out why, right? Could not figure out what the issue was, who this Labrant family was, and I actually kind of realized the husband, I think his name is Cole, he was actually a Viner back in the day, and that's why I recognized him, because he had a different hairstyle back in the day. So that's like my little tidbit about that. A lot of people were very upset, and I wanted to see why for myself, so I really didn't watch anybody's videos on it until I watched it for myself, and then I watched other people's videos, and then I understood why people were pissed off. So without further ado, let's get into the video itself. Hi, hello, and welcome to part one, where pretty much we're going to be talking about the video itself, which is this pro-life video that the Labrant family posted. Like I said, it's very triggering. There's a lot of imagery in that video that's very triggering. So if that's not your cup of tea, I would not suggest watching it. Now, I'm not going to say don't watch it altogether. If you want to watch it for yourself, then come back to this video. You are free to do so. But I do want to point out that even in the beginning of the video, where it says all ad revenue from this video will be directly donated to local pregnancy centers, obviously that can't happen, because down the road, I think YouTube demonetized the video, but it was not taken down. Apparently, Cole Labrant talked to someone at Team YouTube and was able to keep the video up. But because it's demonetized, as you probably know by now, anything demonetized on YouTube does not get pushed out to a bigger audience. So that kind of killed any kind of momentum that video had at that point. And pretty much the only way you're going to find that video is if somebody was already talking about it, or if you were curious yourself, or you already have prior knowledge of the video, or you were subscribed to their channel. That was pretty much the only way you're going to really see this video. Also, I want to talk about the beginning a little bit, because why does it sound like they started a horror movie? Like, it's very unsettling. It's very much like a heartbeat kind of thing. I'm not going to show the clip. I was, and then I really thought about it, and honestly, it's very unsettling, so I'm not going to. But pretty much, I'll describe it. It's like a heartbeat thing, like doom, 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 and then it's like showing a fetus, and it's showing a count all the way up until 40 weeks. And then at 38 weeks, it cuts, and then it's like a flatline sound, basically saying that that child is no longer living, or like, I don't know what that was, but it just, that's pretty much the first 30 seconds of it. So if you're a kid watching that, and then you're a parent seeing your kid watch that, I'd be pretty pissed. This is the part where I was talking about, where it references a lot of tragedies in the past, one specifically being one that happened in World War II. So I'll show the clip for those that have stayed around for this. So later on in the video, they show a graphic from some of the world's most awful tragedies in history. And
in the midst of it all, we truly believe that love is the answer. Instead of pro-life or pro-choice, is it possible for us to be pro-love? Is it possible for us to love both the mother and the baby? Maybe the answer isn't either or, but rather both. I have my personal convictions. You have yours. We're all so different, and that's okay.
Yeah. So something that stood out to me immediately was the United States number of procedures done, where it was just counted up from 60 million up. That's pretty much, how do I say this? It seemed like a scare tactic, because if you looked at those other situations in world history, those were over a period of time. Now, these numbers in the United States that kept going up, it seems like it was like an all-time thing. So just so I could like fact check a little bit, I wanted to see the actual numbers, which I'm gonna pull up here. And you see in 2019, there were reported 628,000 plus procedures done to get a fetus out of a woman. I don't know where this 60+ million number came from. Want to assume that it's a lifetime since it's been recorded in history, but even so, you're talking about maybe 50+ years of data from the United States. So that seemed more like a scare tactic to me. Maybe other people might see it differently, but to me, it just seemed like a scare tactic. Now, if you were to look into worldwide per year procedures done about this, it is in the 60 to 70 million reported range. But the video specifically said United States, which again seemed like a scare tactic, so I just wanted to point that out. Also, I really do have to talk about this because I think now that I saw it, I understand why people were really pissed off. When you compare that, which is what a woman is choosing to do with her body, versus a person who is pretty much a hateful person and hated a sentient being and really wanted to make them suffer and caused pain for so many, that is incomparable to me. And to even fathom saying that women that have this procedure done are on the same level as that hateful man is disgusting and irresponsible. I have no jokes about that. I just wanted to say that because honestly, that was probably the most grossest thing to me. Now that I'm really thinking about it, the Labrant family decided to keep this in the video because they're basically saying, and of course they're not gonna ever say, oh, we didn't mean it like that, it came off like that. You're basically saying women that get this procedure done are just as bad as that man and like all these tragedies. I think that's gross. I think that's irresponsible. I think that's a dangerous message to put out there. I have no jokes about that. It just made me mad. So just wanted to get that out of the way. 2 minutes into the video, we finally see the Labrant family, and I think her name is Savannah Labrant, speaking and talking about her trials and tribulations, getting pregnant at 19, which, you know, hey, I have no problem with that, right? Zero issue with that. The message that it's coming off to me like this, so it's like more of an interpretation thing. The whole message seems to be, my life turned out so great, so you should follow my footsteps, or like, if you don't try, you're a bad person. I'm gonna get into a little bit later, but I think T-Spill called it out the right way. A lot of people don't have the resources that the Labrant family has. They don't even have the same access to resources like the Labrant family has. So to have this mindset, and this is the mindset going into the video from here on out, which is, hey, if this person can do it, you can do it too. Or it's like, hey, like, I'm gonna play the clip a little bit later, but like there's this quack of a doctor who's like, let this child have the same great life that you had, which I don't know how he would know you had a great life unless he followed you for your whole life, which is weird. The whole mindset in this video very much seems like it's shaming women that want to get this procedure done, because there's like many, and I mean many reasons why a woman would want to get this procedure done. So if you watch the video, that's what I got from it. It's very much elitist. How dare you want this procedure done? Look at all these people that are probably worse than you. How dare you tell them that, you know, I don't know. It just felt weird to me. In like 4 minutes of the video, I'm gonna play the clip in a little bit, but I will censor the word, of course, but you're gonna see the word. I don't know whose voice this is, by the way, but they gave the definition of...
By definition, is when a pregnancy is ended so that it doesn't result in the birth of a child.
And I just... What? I also like how when people say things like, by definition, this, when if you looked it up, it takes 2 seconds to go on Google and look up the exact definition of, It clearly states the definition of abortion is the termination of pregnancy after, accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of an embryo or fetus. I didn't see the word child in there, but I'll continue. Such as a spontaneous expulsion of a human fetus during the first 12 weeks of gestation. Compare miscarriage, and I think it's like a different example, induced expulsion of a human fetus. I don't know what definition they got that from, but the Merriam-Webster definition, which is like one of the most, I want to say, followed dictionaries in the world. So maybe this was like their own definition and this is how they thought it meant. But again, it seemed like another scare tactic. And I'm sorry if I triggered anybody by saying that word. I only said it for the purpose of that part. I'll try not to say it again, and if I do, I truly do apologize. I don't want to trigger anybody. Like, I know this is a very sensitive topic, but just for that, I just had to say it because I'm reading the actual definition of that word. Now we reached the point where the Labrant family talks about their goal of this video and said that if they can just get one mother to keep their child, then they would feel accomplished, which, okay, not your business, but okay. I think the Labrant family really thinks that other people will have it as easy as they do, and that's just not the case. I think I already said this earlier. I obviously can't speak because I've never been through it, and just like hearing women's stories about what they endured during a pregnancy, some even saying that they would never want to go through it again, just really opened my eyes to what future moms could go through. So when you're like, let's just be real, this whole video is basically a guilt trip to make you feel bad for even thinking about having this procedure done. Let's just be real. Again, I just feel like that's a gross thing to do because, one, it's not your business what a woman does with her body because it's her body. So she should have the right to decide what she wants to do with her body, but I digress. After this, the Labrant family talks to a doctor, and this doctor could not be more annoying, and we're gonna play a clip from him later, but just know, I'm gonna put it out there right now, he is a pro-life doctor who even talks about how he delivers children in medical emergencies. I could be paraphrasing, but that's pretty much the gist of what he said, which is weird to me. And the Labrant family asked this doctor like the $1 million question, right? Which is, where does life begin? And I think that's probably one of like the biggest questions that a lot of people have. Here's my response to this, okay? Here's my response to this one question. To people that care so much about others and choices that they make with their bodies. You ready for this, okay? You ready? It's not any of your, ooh, I was about to cuss. It's not any of your effing business. And you should just enjoy your life. I said that as nice as I could. It's not your business what somebody else wants to do with their body. It doesn't affect you. Let it go. Thank you. Okay. Whew. Like, I really don't understand this fascination with like monitoring other people's actions, especially when it comes to their bodies. Like, if something doesn't affect you, why do you care? Don't worry, I will wait. Oh, you know, there's no good answer. Gotcha. Okay. This isn't like, or like other horrific events that were just a hateful person making a conscious decision to take another life because of hate. We're talking about a woman who makes a choice that ultimately affects their future, not yours, their future, and their future alone. I think that's what bothers me the most, is because, again, this documentary has the vibe of, we don't want to add fuel to the fire and we want to stand in the middle ground, which is the vibe they were trying to give off, but we also want to make women change their mind about keeping a child or not. Like, pick a lane and stick with it. Thank you. I want to make a note of this because I found it interesting. In this documentary, the Labrant family talks to two doctors. One being the guy doctor I already told you about, who's pro-life, and even like admits he's a pro-life doctor, which I would never want any of my future kids, my future wife to deal with that kind of thing, because it feels like you would try to implant your beliefs on your practice, which seems unethical to me, but maybe I could be wrong. And of course, he's the one that stated that pro-life begins at fertilization, which is, I think that's not correct. But, you know, we're not here for that argument. We're here to talk about this trash documentary. Then they talk to a woman doctor who has had this procedure done to her before, and she's seemingly pro-choice, which is obvious because you barely see her in this documentary. You only see her for like maybe 2 minutes, and when you do see her in this documentary, she's just describing, like, in detail, in gruesome detail, different types of procedures to get a fetus out of a woman's body, which I feel like that was intentional, again, to make a woman feel like gross for even considering this, make them feel guilty for considering this. I could be wrong. Maybe it's tinfoil energy, I don't know, but that's the vibe I got from that. And I noticed that the Labrant family didn't ask like the same type of questions to the woman, where they asked the guy and they were like, oh yeah, we love this guy, he's telling us all this great information, blah blah blah. And then when it came to the women, like, the Labrant family just seemed very uninterested. Well, because in the end, it seems like the woman is pro-choice, and that's not what they wanted, and that's not probably what they wanted to hear. So maybe there was more of her, but they probably cut it because it didn't fit their narrative, which, you know, again, seems very irresponsible if you're going to try to have a video about this subject. Oh my god, yeah. So I put this down because I thought it was like really annoying. Like, it got really annoying if you paid attention to it enough. The music choice in this documentary video was just like sad melodic piano playing the entire time, which, if you've been around YouTube for a while, know this is probably one of the biggest manipulative tactics that a lot of creators use. Not saying that all creators that use music are manipulative, that's not what I'm saying, but you gotta see the intent behind using certain background music. Like, for instance, my background music that you always hear, it's not to give you any type of energy. If anything, it's supposed to make you feel chill, because that's what we do here. We chill, we vibe. But if you watch this video, it's very sad violin. So like, when you're hearing all these women's stories about, you know, I was about to give up my baby, but then I went to this organization and I ended up keeping it, which we're gonna get to that. So if you watch the video and then you're hearing this sad violin music playing, your brain's gonna be like, this is sad. You should feel sad here. And maybe, again, maybe it's a tinfoil hat thing, but I feel like that was a very conscious choice to, again, make the watcher feel bad. Then Cole Labrant brings his grandmother on to talk about her story of how her father chased men off his yard that set her up to get this procedure done at 17 years old, and how she doesn't regret keeping her child. Well, this ultimately led to Cole Labrant being born, and the next few generations, I believe. It's easy to say, oh, I'm so glad I didn't do that because look how great everything turned out years down the road. But again, not everyone has the same kind of support system Cole's grandmother had. And again, not everyone has the same amount of resources or like the same like secure environment, if that makes sense. Cole does say multiple times we need to support these mothers, which I think that's fine. We should be supporting single mothers because some mothers do struggles. Like, I think that's a fine sentiment to have. I think that is fine. But what about a woman that's just like, I don't want a kid right now? Then what? Are you just going to keep throwing feel-good stories at them until they change their mind? What if they don't? You can keep giving all these nice stories of people turning out okay in the end, but at the end of the day, it should still be a woman's choice what she wants to do without fear of being judged for either outcome. Like, if she wants to keep the baby, great. If she doesn't want to keep the baby for personal reasons, that is also okay. But again, like I already said, this video feels like a guilt trip for women that want this procedure done. Because I'm gonna point it out right now, before I talk about it probably a little bit later, there are like no counter arguments in this video. It's all stories about, oh, I was about to do this procedure, then I didn't, and my life turned out great. Like I said, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, but I just wanted to point that out. We reached the part where the Labrant family interviewed multiple people about their experiences with one of the groups that they actually linked in the description below. But the main one they talk about in their video is Embrace Grace, whose main goal is to help single mothers out, which, again, a great sentiment. But as I've learned through watching other people's videos and like doing a little bit of reading on my own, these types of groups are not as good as they seem, but we're gonna get to that. But just know, like, groups like Embrace Grace are not as innocent as they seem. But again, we'll get to that. And what did bother me about the Labrant family's videos is that they conveniently had, again, success stories of people that chose life. Now remember, the Labrant family said that they didn't want to add fuel to the fire and not pick a side, and in the end, choose love. But looking at this as a whole, it definitely feels like a pro-life video, and it doesn't feel like it. I'm just reading my notes. It is a pro-life video. When I finish it, it's a pro-life video. Just want to get that out the way, more than anything. Which is fine, except don't paint this narrative like you're going to be fair and down the line, and then only pick what fits your narrative. Even as far as interviewing a mother who was homeless and saying, if they can do it, you can do it too. Honestly, that phrase kind of bothers me, and it's bothered me for a while, and it just never sat right with me. Because maybe it builds a toxic mindset, so like, you have to feel like you appreciate everything around you or you seem selfish. It feels like they specifically said certain things to be like, hey, this homeless woman kept her child and she turned out okay. You can do it too. And I'm just kind of like, different circumstances for different people. Like, I'm glad this woman turned out okay, don't get me wrong. But to use that as like a gotcha moment, I don't like that. I just don't. Okay, so we're near the end of the video. I love this chair, by the way, guys. Do you like my chair? This is new, by the way. This chair thing is new. I bought it a couple weeks ago. I love it. It's my gaming chair. So when I'm in the living room, I play. Sorry, tangent. Sorry. Sorry. It's a comfortable chair. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, my Capitals jersey's on it. Anywho, so we're near this end of this video, and maybe I just pick up weird energy. And maybe these doctors knew about the questions beforehand, but I just want to play this clip from near the end of the video where the Labrant family asked the guy doctor yet again, because he's in this video a lot, but not the woman doctor. And they asked the guy doctor what he says to a woman that comes to him and says that they're considering considering this procedure, and just listen to this response, because maybe I'm tripping.
Aside from Dr. Anthony Levatino, what would you say to a young woman who comes to you and says, I'm pregnant, I'm thinking about having a... What do I do?
A caution for the audience. Don't ever, ever talk about an as being a convenience. That so-and-so had an because it's the convenient thing. Pregnancy is not convenient. Never, ever say that. Understand that women who are contemplating are under tremendous stress. They are worried about their education. They are worried about their finances. They don't want mom and dad to know she's been having sex with Johnny. Whatever it is that's driving her, there are powerful forces and powerful things within her mind driving her to consider. And it's very important when you're talking to someone in pregnancy who's contemplating an abortion to keep that in mind, to understand and be empathetic about the tremendous stress that she's under. When those situations arise, I would do my best to understand her situation by talking with her, understand what was driving her to that decision. I understand that you're worried about finances, and I understand that you're worried about your education, and I understand that you're worried about the impact on your life in the future. I understand that you may not feel able to provide for your son or daughter in the future. But I want you to understand one thing. There is something that only you can give your son or daughter, and that is the chance to live, the very same chance that you have to enjoy life. Only you can provide that to them.
So, is it me? Or did he not really answer the question? The response made it seem more like, well, you have an awesome life, so how dare you rob this growing baby of theirs? Which, again, seems like a very manipulative, phrase. Except, I've already talked about this before, do you know their family history? Do you know what circumstances exactly led to this woman being born in front of you? To me, this seems like this doctor wants to make you feel guilty and about even considering it because of external factors. The response comes from, how dare you take a chance for a growing child inside of you to have a good life, because look at you having a good life. And the last story we hear is from a woman that wanted this procedure done, took the pill, and seemingly the pill failed because she had the child anyway. Again, this is chalked up to another happy, feel-good story with keeping a child, and to paint their narrative of see, even someone that didn't want a child ended up okay. So what's the excuse now? Which again, on its own, is fine, but all together, it's extremely pro-life, masked up in a down the middle debate. And I just want to make it clear, I am not shaming these mothers that decided to keep their child. Again, it's not my business what they do with their child. Not my business how they go about future pregnancies. The Labrant family presenting these mothers as examples of see, if you're doing better than them, what's your excuse? That's the energy I'm getting, and that's the point I'm trying to make. It seems like the Labrant family wants to make you feel guilty. Any mothers, any pending mothers, future mothers out there that are even considering this procedure to get done, because of, again, nobody knows what you're going through at the end of the day, right? So going back to that doctor that's give this baby a life that you got to enjoy, which is, again, it seems like a manipulative phrasing tactic. Maybe it's just me. And that's all my notes and reactions to the video. And seeing as I'm probably the last person to talk about this, I was curious to see what other creators had to say about this, because as you can see, the comments for the Labrant fam channel have been turned off, not just for this video, no, my friends, but for all their videos and community posts. So let's hear some other reactions to the Labrant family. Well, if you made it this far into the video, then either you like my voice, agree with me, or you forgot this video was playing and just needed some background noise while you vacuum. Whatever it may be, welcome to part 2, where I took some other creators and their thoughts on this video that I probably missed or want to expand on. Now, there are a lot of creators that made good points on the issues with this video, but I would like to talk about 3 creators' videos in particular. One being Smokey Glow, another being T-Spill, and lastly my good friend Mika, who always makes dope deep dive videos. I will be linking all their videos down below. I'm gonna start with T-Spills because T-Spill is the shortest out of the 3, so I'll just start there first. Something T-Spill brought up that I didn't even think about is the Labrant family's audience, and I mentioned it earlier, but like, if you really think about it, the Labrant family's audience is children, which seems so left field because if you look at their content on their channel, nothing about their content screams they're documentarians. So it's only natural that if you were a child and you click this video, you'd be very confused and you'd probably be scared. And again, I think I mentioned it earlier, if I was a parent and I saw my child seeing a video like this, I would be really pissed. So my question is, who is the target audience then? Again, as you can see from the screenshots, I'm sure now this documentary was definitely left field and definitely doesn't fit the energy of their channel. So again, imagine a child watching this and then the parent has to explain what they're seeing. I would be uncomfortable to be put in that position, and it would be because a YouTuber decided to post a video like that. And they're supposed to be family-friendly content. It's a family channel.
If I was a parent and a channel that claims to be kid-friendly posted content like this and my kid clicked on it, I would be pissed. And this isn't a video of them just sitting there and saying their personal views on the topic. Oh no. They compared the topic to some pretty horrible events that happened in history. I mean events that little kids are probably going to click on and see the pictures that they posted showing these events and actually be scarred. The fact that they could sit there and compare this topic to tragic, horrible events in history and think they actually did something just goes to show how sheltered and ignorant this family really is.
Another point she brought up is that if they are so pro-love, then as they wanted to claim, then they wouldn't have been trying to push their agenda and beliefs so hard. And just understand that not everyone has the same opportunity as the people interviewed in the video. Because again, those stories in that video, I'm not taking anything away from them. Like, I'm glad that they're okay, you know what I'm saying? But what about the mothers that don't get that chance? What about the mothers that never get the help or the resources that they need? And like what about them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about them? It's easy to just throw a feel-good story in your face to make you be like, oh, well, I didn't even think about that. But also, I think it's fair to say that there is an opposite side of that. Does that make sense? Smokey Glow is next because I feel in terms of creators, I can see myself in the same mindset with Smokey Glow about a lot of the things. So I'm sure she's going to point out even more things that made me think. As I mentioned earlier in part 1, but like Smokey Glow goes on a bit of a rant about how these hope groups that the Labrant family promoted in the description of their video. Like, I didn't even think about it until like I really read into it, but she brings up a point that the purpose of these types of groups is to basically manipulate them into having a child that they probably didn't even want in the end. With the way the current state of the United States is right now on this subject, I can see why Smokey Glow is definitely so passionate about this.
So for me personally, given how high stakes the issue is right now and how in danger this issue is right now, I take great issue with a channel that has 13 million subscribers that is a family channel posting 45 minutes of misinformation and compare abortion rates to the Holocaust and also point people in the direction of fake abortion clinics that the sole purpose of is to control and manipulate women and bombard women into not being able to make a choice for themselves. These clinics, the one that the Labrant family is promoting on their YouTube channel and promoting that you should go donate to and go to, these clinics are Disgusting. These clinics lure women in under false pretenses and then force, manipulate, and coerce them into not making a choice that is best for them to serve their own self-interest.
Also, something I quickly learned while watching Smokey Glow's video and reading articles myself is that the horrors of this group, not even just this group, the horrors of like these types of groups that the Labrant family promoted in their video.
I've actually heard and learned about clinics like this before. They're actually not allowed in New York State. I know they are in other states. I'm pretty sure I could link the article that I read this in, but I believe it was in Georgia. These fake clinics overpopulate the real pregnancy clinic 3-to-1. These pregnancy clinics, which they actually showed in their propaganda piece as like this wonderful, amazing place where you can come and get free services and free ultrasounds, that's not what they are. These fake clinics get away with calling themselves clinics because they have one nurse practitioner there that is able to do things like ultrasounds. That is how they get away with calling themselves a clinic. They are not a clinic. What they are is a place to persuade and manipulate women who are debating getting an abortion into not getting one. These places paint themselves as if they are similar to Planned Parenthood. They basically try to market themselves as if they do offer abortion services, as if they do offer emergency contraception. They don't offer any of those things. I read a bunch of articles about places like this, of people kind of going inside and having the experience of being in one, and I'll link a couple of them down below if you're interested in reading about them. This actually is a massive problem. Organizations like Embrace Grace are massive problems throughout the US right now because their sole purpose is to be predatory as fuck. But you walk in and there's like a picture of a graveyard behind the front desk that says all of the unborn children that were aborted. You're immediately met with anti-choice propaganda that is not based in fact or science, but is solely based on the religious beliefs of other people. You're not only met with all of this signage, you're also met with an unlicensed volunteer whose sole purpose is not to help you or help you navigate what is the best choice for you. Their sole purpose is to ensure that you don't get an abortion. You feel disgusting if you were to get one, fill you with false information and false science about what the process of getting one is, how dangerous it is, how immoral it is to do so. These places are just as bad, if not worse, as those people who stand outside of Planned Parenthood with disgusting signs and pictures who harass and scream things at women going in to get services.
I will be coming back to Smokey Glow's video in the next part because the Labrant family is actually more problematic than just this video, and you'll quickly see why they got the amount of hate that they did, because in the end, the message itself is not all that shocking. However, the delivery is just really awful. I wanted to do Mika's videos last, not only because she's the homie, but like also because with her content especially, I feel like our opinions feed off each other in a way that we can calmly explain our point without destroying another person's character entirely. A point Mika brought up about all the stories of the women in the video, like, I think it goes without saying that I have zero issues with any of the mothers and their choices to keep their child and raise them. However, it does feel like seemingly every story had the same vibe of persuasion to keep the child.
Because then Savannah Labrant, which is the wife, says that people abort children because it's too hard. That's the only, like, that's like the reason, like, she says, like, oh, people get rid of their babies because it's like too hard, you know, not that, like, so they talk about like mothers who are like raising kids in their cars and people that are like struggling so hard but had the kids anyways. They never once bring forth, and I'm not saying these people are bad mothers, actually I think they were really good mothers a lot of the time, these people that were there interviewing, but do you not think it's a disservice to the children to some extent to have such non-ideal conditions to raise them in? If they could choose not to do that, but the reason they didn't was because they were coerced into carrying out the pregnancy. Because a lot of these conversations they have sound like they're coercion of like a set of structures and values of like the church and the people that they're around that kept them in this mentality of like keeping the children. Better to raise children in a more ideal and consistent and structured environment. To be coerced into not doing that because of, you know, certain things, and then they base this whole documentary on anecdotal evidence of people who got out of things, not talking to people who never did, people who gave up their kids and then they ended up in a bad foster home, because that happens a lot. They had one person, they had Cole Labrant's grandmother who was adopted. And it was like, oh, I had an amazing family. That doesn't always happen. They're setting up this like idealistic form just based on anecdotal evidence, which is just such a piss off, to be honest.
Something I didn't talk about enough in part 1 is that Mika points out that the guy doctor says he's pro-life. Now, maybe I'm tripping y'all, but I think I mentioned it earlier, but isn't it against some kind of oath like that doctors and medical professionals take? At the end of the day, you should go off science and not personal beliefs, because that's honestly how seemingly people can get hurt. Does it work out sometimes? Probably, yeah, but science is there for a reason. No, I didn't dunk on this doctor hard enough, y'all. So that's why I got the petty university hat on. I got the sweat on, because I didn't dunk on this doctor hard enough, because I can't remember who said it. I think it was Smokey Glow that said he's a quack of a doctor, and I love that line. So I think I'm gonna keep that. So this quack of a doctor, right? But if I'm in the position where like the future mother of my child came across a doctor like this, I would encourage her to immediately, and I really do mean immediately, find a new one, please. Because something I didn't mention was that this doctor talked about, like, I think I did mention it, now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm gonna bring it up again. This doctor talked about delivering the baby and medical emergencies and things like that, which is just bizarre to me. Like, there are plenty of instances where that isn't the smart move, and it can actually leave lasting damage on a woman. Again, this goes back to like, it's her body, her choice. There have been stories of mothers who sadly gave up their lives to save their child, and that's their choice. But then there are also stories of women that it's like, please save me. And that's like, I'm trying not to like get too into it, because again, I know this is a sensitive subject, but there's always two ends of a spectrum. And again, going back to the video just a little bit, I think that's what the Labrant family missed the most, is because they were so like in their zone, they didn't think about other things. Mika also pointed out something I truly didn't think about, and that was regret rates. And by regret, I mean the argument that people regret getting the procedure versus having a child altogether. I was actually able to find some articles mentioned in our video, and the study showed that 5% of women regretted it, getting the procedure done, and then another study showed that 8 to 17% regretted having the child in the end. This is not including heavily Christian studies, because of course those numbers are going to be massively different from the others. And I actually, like, real talk, y'all, I actually feel bad for like Christians, because a lot of them would just want to love God and just like be left alone. And you have people like the Labrant family who are just like, it's like the loudest voice always seems to be the majority of that said group. So with 13.1 million subscribers sending this message out and painting this narrative for like what Christians are like, I don't think that's fair to the Christian community. And it seems like the overall judgment of Christians was greatly affected. Maybe I could be wrong, but of course every type of group has those kind of people where it's just like the loudest people make them look bad. So I definitely feel for like my Christian people that definitely just want to like vibe, love God, and just like, do their thing. And then you have people like the Labrant family who are just so big-mouthed and so elitist that it just like they get grouped in together. Does that make sense? I probably didn't make sense, but I hope that made sense. And I just want to be clear, I have zero problems with like religion at all, but when it comes to negatives, it always seems to come back to the Christianity, and it's always like big examples like the Labrant family that just paint the entire Christian community in a bad light. I think in the end, the Labrant family just show how privileged they truly are, and their overall message seemingly be, if you have this procedure, you're bad. But you know what's really bad? The Labrant family's past. So let's really talk about it. Welcome to part 3, where we get into the past of the Labrant family. And yes, I'm still wearing Petty University merch. If you don't have some, buy some. Anyway, we're going to talk about the past of the Labrant family and see why them turning off the comments on this documentary video wasn't all that surprising. Originally, I wasn't going to talk about their past, but there was just like so many things when I looked into this family that I just couldn't ignore it. And I'm not going to act like, again, I'm not going to act like I already knew about this stuff beforehand, so I'm heavily going to reference videos in this part. One I already mentioned was Smokey Glow's video, and the other one I'll be using for reference is Dustin Dailey's video, where he also talked about the family's problematic history. Honestly, I can't mention anything else without mentioning this first. This apparently isn't the first documentary type of video that the Labrant family has done. Last year they uploaded a documentary about cancer, which, okay, at first you wouldn't think that's bad, right? But
so basically 7 months ago they posted a video and it was titled "She was diagnosed with cancer." Now anyone that would click on a video like that would automatically assume that they were talking about one of their kids, because in the past they had discussed that they had a cancer scare with their daughter, but it ended up being their daughter like throwing up and projectile vomiting. How you get to cancer from that, I really truly don't know. But originally when they posted this video, it was a picture of the whole family and it said she was diagnosed with cancer. That would elude people to thinking that they were probably talking about their kid, right? But what's actually really gross about it is it wasn't their kid. Now this video was even set to premiere, and this is something that they had never done in the past, so they knew that with this clickbait title that they were going to get attention, money, clicks, and views. But of course they started to get dragged and they turned off the comments on this video, so you can no longer see the comments that were left on this video, and people were dragging them like they were giving them the business, and rightfully so. These people literally clickbaited with kids with cancer. So what they ended up doing was they changed the thumbnail to them in the hospital praying over an actual kid that has cancer and exploited the out of them, which is absolutely gross and deplorable.
Okay, let me put my iPad down for a second. Let's talk about this. If you think for 1 millisecond that these people did not know that when they titled the video, "She got diagnosed with cancer," that millions of people would not think that one of their own children got diagnosed with cancer, I don't know what to tell you. They literally clickbaited that one of their children had cancer, and when you clicked on the video, it was just a documentary about childhood cancer. And 90% of the video was not even focused on the point of what the video was supposed to be about, which was childhood cancer. Can we just talk about the fact that they clickbaited one of their children having cancer in order to get views on a video to support childhood cancer? Can we just talk about the morals and ethics and backflips you'd have to take to do something like that? Not only that though, 90% of the video is not even them talking about the issue they're claiming to be there to talk about. It's Cole opening up and talking about the fact that he had anxiety, that his daughter did have cancer. She doesn't have cancer, but he had so much anxiety about that then he started learning about cancer and childhood cancer and felt like it was something that they needed to talk about and share.
I think that right there is beyond gross to me. Family channel ethics have been a big point on YouTube for a while, so when something like this happened and YouTube kind of let it go, the video we saw a couple of weeks ago proved that without consequences of actions, behavior will escalate. I think Cole talked to someone at Team YouTube, and like, yes, the video was pro-life, and the video was demonetized, but it was able to stay up. the fact that they had the privilege of even keeping the video up when they were mostly half-truths bothers me. And honestly, it makes me question YouTube and their ethics, because as we already know, YouTube is a private company at the end of the day. Not only is this a worldwide site, so things like free speech and everything aren't respected on there anyway. So for them to seemingly allow a video to stay up, that should make you question if YouTube even cares about content, or do they care about numbers only? Spoiler alert, they care about numbers only. Another big issue that I learned, and maybe this is more common than we think, apparently Savannah wants to homeschool or partially homeschool her oldest child, who is 9 years old, by the way, so she can help take care of the other 3 children.
Now on top of that, just a month ago, before they posted this other video, they made a video talking about how they were debating homeschooling or partially homeschooling their oldest daughter, Everly. And one of the reasons that Savannah in particular said that she wanted to homeschool her was because she wanted help and support with all of the children that she was having. She said because she was gonna have 3 young children under the age of 3, Everly would be very helpful. Everly, by the way, is 9. Everly, a 9-year-old, is now being pulled out of school and doing partial school because Savannah would like assistance and help throughout the day with the children that she is choosing to have. As if they aren't millionaires who can't afford a nanny. And also, mind you, during this whole conversation, first of all, I shouldn't even be privy to this knowledge. This is what I always say when we're talking about kid channels. I shouldn't even be aware that they're considering doing this with Everly. Like, I should not know that this is what's going on. I should not know any of this information. This is totally private and personal information that pertains to her. But while they were talking about it, Cole was literally like, well, she's very social. She's a very outgoing kid. She loves her social life. She loves being busy. And Savannah was basically like, well, I want her here more, so we think we're gonna partially homeschool her. I feel really bad for all of the children in this family, but I feel the worst for Everly because she started having a camera shoved in her face at 3 years old and has basically grown up as a child actress with none of the right. She is constantly being used and filmed for vlog content, TikTok content, Instagram content, and you can even tell that a lot of the time, a lot of what she's doing is scripted. She's 9 years old doing scripted content with her parents for them to make millions of dollars on YouTube. And now, instead of getting to go to school to like be with her friends who self-admittedly her parents said that she enjoys doing, they're gonna pull her out of school so she can help take care of these other kids and also presumably be around more so she can be in even more videos.
I think that's what's so baffling to me, like Smokey Glow said, is that this family has made enough money to the point where that shouldn't even be like considered, especially if their daughter likes to be social, they like to go to school, to take that away from her because you want help at home? Y'all, let's not act like family channels are like the highest grossing channels on YouTube. They are perfect, family friendly for YouTube. And that's what YouTube actually wants more of. So I also find it weird that for a couple that's so pro-life, they took away their kids' right to consent in being a video. Maybe that's just me, but isn't that a bit strange that for a couple that is so pro-life that they took away their child's right to even want to be in a video or not? You guys tell me. I'll let you have that one. And this part was actually very short because it was more so of a clip-heavy thing. And like, their past is their past. It is what it is in a way. I just want to go back to the clickbaiting cancer thing. I think that's really bizarre to me that like that wasn't a bigger thing. Like, yes, people talked about it at the time, but YouTube definitely should have stepped in and been like, whoa, we definitely can't be having that type of like representation on here, and just maybe give them a strike on their channel. Like, because it seems like it broke a terms of service, because I don't know if fear mongering is a terms of service, but it should be. because if it was, the video, like that documentary a couple weeks ago, would have definitely been taken down by now, because it is fear mongering at the end of the day. I just think I understand why so many people were pissed. Like, I understand now. Like, we talked about the video enough, y'all. Like, I really don't want to keep this video too long. I know it's probably going to be like another 50-minute to an hour video. I apologize. We talked about this video enough. Like, the couple's past and all the baggage that came with it, right? So let's go back to the video, because maybe there's a way that this video could have been watchable. Spoiler alert, I would never watch this video again. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my Blues Clues hoodie on because we're going to try to get a clue. Terrible joke, I know. But this is part 4, where we're gonna talk about the video, but we're not gonna talk about the video, if that makes sense. We're gonna discuss this video in a way of, is there a way to fix it? Spoiler alert, I don't think so, but we're gonna try, because that's what we do here. We try to be fair as much as possible. But is there a way to fix this video? Because, like I said, it was just a lot wrong with it. So I have 3 theories, okay? There are 3 theories I have to make this video so much better and actually more watchable, to the point where it doesn't piss people off. So, number 1, it might sound unconventional, but tell the truth. I know that sounds like I'm just like being sarcastic or anything, but I'm not. I'll explain. When I say tell the truth, it would have been like less problematic to just be like, look, we want to have a pro-life video because we want to help single mothers, or just be like, hey, we don't like that women get procedures to get rid of fetuses. We think life starts at conception, and because of our beliefs, we're making this video to like make people more informed, because we think our side is right. Now, if they were just honest, and I'm like, this is for like all problematic creators out there. If you really just want to stay out of drama, just tell the truth. Like, if you just really said, hey, I don't care about your side, I think my side's right, who's gonna be mad at you? Because you told the truth. Like, you said what it was. Like, there's nothing to really make a video about. Like, if the Labrant family was just more honest in their video, I wouldn't be making this video today. Like, would people still be mad? Of course they would. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I really think the root of the problem is they were trying to stay down the middle, and like they even said, like, we're pro-love. I don't know. Maybe if you told the truth, maybe people would be pissed off at you. Maybe you wouldn't have to turn your comments off. Like, there are so many ways you could have just told the truth in that video, and instead of just being like, oh, well, look at all these feel-good stories. Instead, just be like, hey, you're a lazy person. Keep that child. You know better. Or be like, hey, because I know they're like a heavily religious family, but like, hey, we believe that, you know, God wants you to keep your child. At the end of the day, you're telling the truth, and that's what you believe. Nobody can really get mad at you if you're just straightforward at the end of the day. I think that's one way that they could have saved it. That actually kind of leads into my second theory about how to make this video watchable. I actually wrote, actually be fair. If you were gonna do this type of video, right, where you want to show pro-life and be like, look at all these amazing stories, look at all these great mothers and how great they're doing, and look at this community that's come around them. Like, if you wanted to do that type of stuff, okay, but also show the other side where a mother's like, look, it wasn't gonna happen for me. I couldn't do it. I had to get this procedure done, or else I was gonna die. Like, or, my family would have cut me off. Like, there are so many reasons why a woman cannot keep a child. Again, the whole Labrant family video just made it seem like you were a bad person for even thinking about it. I think if they included more stories of people where, like, they didn't keep the child and they actually feel like they made the right choice, I think that would have been a better, more watchable video, because you got to see two sides of the spectrum. And it's more pro-love as they wanted to try to be, but even though they weren't. They had two opposing doctors, but the editing was so obvious that they agreed with the guy doctor a lot more because he was a pro-life doctor. And it seemed like the woman doctor was pro-choice. Maybe I was just misinterpreting that, but also the way that she was edited, it just made it seem like they didn't fit the Labrant family's narrative, which of course led to her being edited out of probably a lot of the video. But I think if you just show the opposing side, I think the video would have been a lot better. A lot of people wouldn't have been mad at you because you presented both sides and stayed down the middle like you presented yourself to be. I think that would have been okay. By actually being fair, just, you know, instead of putting resources for these like facilities that pretty much make you feel bad for getting the procedure done, how about you put, you know, links for people that may consider getting that done and let them give them options instead of making it one-sided. Because I think making the video one-sided was honestly the biggest mistake that the Labrant family made out of everything that I've talked about. When you make a one-sided video about especially serious subjects, it's gonna piss people off. Now, if you were down the middle, like, commentary channels are probably the best at this, and I know somebody's about to be like, that's not true. Let me explain. The ones I watch and the ones I enjoy definitely are like down the middle. They try to look at both sides of things. They're not very like narrow-minded in their thoughts. Like, they're very open to different sides of the argument. Like, if that was the case, I would make Gabby Hanna videos all day where I could just like dunk on her for being annoying, dunk on her for the things she says. But like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not a Gabby Hanna channel, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are some things that she says that, you know, I actually don't have a problem with. A lot of things she says I do have a problem with, but again, there are some things I don't have a problem with her saying. What was it? Like, I think I said like the vlog squad shouldn't have messed with her or said those nasty things about her, and I still believe that to this day. And I can also say that, you know, hey, Gabby Hanna said some nasty things about other people. Like, those are like two different arguments about the same coin kind of thing. I think Trisha Paytas is a great example of like, when commentary channels talk about them, they always bring both sides of the argument, because Trisha Paytas is a flip-flopper, so it's kind of easy to do that. But I think Trisha Paytas is a great person, like, when they're covered on all these different videos, people do give fair critiques about their choices. You can definitely tell which channels are like against somebody completely because like they never give them a chance. Yeah, so things like that. And my third and final theory to make the Labrant family video watchable, like fixing this video problem, is, I think I wrote, not make the video at all. Oh, y'all thought I was joking, huh? No, I was dead serious. The number 3, I really said not make the video at all, because I'm sorry, y'all, I had to get petty at least like one good time in this video, because like I've been trying to be like direct, and I've been trying to give you the information like straightforward. I haven't been really going on tangents in this video, but I had to get one in. They shouldn't have made this video at all, to be honest with you. Like, that was not a joke. I really don't think this video was necessary. It didn't add anything to the conversation. If anything, it just pissed off people even more. It's spreading misinformation. It painted Planned Parenthood as like the enemy, which is a terrible thing to do, because Planned Parenthood actually does a lot of good things for women. It's not just, you know, pregnancies and things like that. They offer, you know, other services. I just thought this video was unnecessary. It shouldn't have been made in the first place, especially with their style of content. Like I said, it just didn't match. So I don't understand what the Labrant family's end goal was, because they said that their goal was like, if they could just get one parent to be like, oh my god, I want to keep my child, but like, okay, to say that you're down the middle and it's like pro-love, like all these BS lines. Oh, my favorite one. If they could do it, you could do it too. That kind of energy. I just think it was insane to me. Especially that quack of a doctor. I'm sorry, that's a great line. That quack, that quack of a doctor. I think the guy doctor really put a sour taste in my mouth with this video, especially because he just seems so pissed off when they asked, so what would you do if a woman came to you and said, I would like this, I'm thinking about getting this procedure done? And he just seemed really offended. And it's just like, bro, you don't know this woman. And then he's trying to be like, I understand what you're going through. And I'm like, no, you don't. Of course you don't. You don't know her life. And I'm sorry, y'all. So yeah, that was no joke. That was my last and final bullet point on fixing the video. Fixing the video will be deleting it. Oh, you thought I was joking, huh? Maybe you should delete the video, even though YouTube said you can keep it up. Which again, YouTube, what the hell was that? Yeah, so delete the video. Video shouldn't exist, because again, oh, I wanted to point this out as well. T-Spill, I think T-Spill pointed this out. The same person that's like the videographer for this video also was the videographer for Austin McBroom's scam of a basketball charity event. So that should kind of tell you the ethics that this videographer has, which is none. I just want to put that little nugget out. I didn't include it in the video. I didn't include the clip, but I think I heard that from T-Spill's video. I think it was T-Spill's video, yeah. So I think that was crazy to me. Wow. Hello, we made it to the end. Big conclusion. There's not really a big conclusion. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say in this video that I think like were my personal thoughts. I loved piggybacking in a way off of the other creators because there were some things I didn't think about. If you made it to the end, awesome. You guys are great people. If you didn't make it to the end, I am with you in spirit. No hard feelings. I know this video is long and like some people aren't fan of long videos. I like doing long videos because I am always gone for a long time. So I feel like I always have to make it up by giving you a long video to make up for the time I was gone. I really don't have, you know, the time to make shorter videos like I really want to. So I hope these deep dive videos are a little bit better for you guys. I really do like doing these deep dive kind of videos because, you know, it gives me time to think. It gives me time to like gather my thoughts. I try to make the things I cover like one and done. The Creep Show series that I did a couple months ago, it was just so much information I couldn't put it in one video, so that's like one of the like outliers, I guess. But if you made it this far, I really am glad. I hope you liked the panoramic setup. I think it's this panoramic cinematic setup that I'm doing with this video. I hope you like the quality. If you don't, I'll try to keep working on it. I don't know when my next video is going to be, but I did miss you guys, and I really do hope you are all doing well. And I don't know, again, I don't know when I will be back again, because I'm reaching the point at my job where I'm going to be busy a lot. So even me doing this today, I had just enough energy to do this video because I really, in a way, I do feel passionate about this kind of subject. Also, the way that the United States is in right now, I think it was just a very timely video to talk about. If you are going to leave any comments about the subject at hand, just please be respectful. Please be respectful towards each other in the comments. I'm not here to spread hate or like, you know. At the end of the day, we're just chilling. We're making jokes. We're just kind of having a good time. Like at the end of the day, when you click away from that video, my video, you're gonna go back to your life. Once I post this, I'll go back to my life, and until we meet again, really. Once again, it is Malcolm, that's me. Subscription button up here. I also have 2 other videos over there for your own free time. Without further ado, I wish you well, I wish you good health, and I will see you again next time.